Hey, what's up, everybody? Joe Steele here with Crypto in the House. Hope you're all having a great Thursday today. Just want to jump in with some quick, well, actually not quick, but some very cool news. We're going to jump in here starting with Phantom. So, obviously, Phantom Wallet's quick. The whole system is, very popular among the users. But what they're doing just today or yesterday, late yesterday, they're going to burn NFTs across all devices. So you can safely remove spam, clean up your collectibles tab all from inside your wallet. So basically, they're saying, to cut down on the level of spam that they're experiencing or users are experiencing. You can also make some Sol tokens in the process. So basically, they built and maintain an extensive open source block list of scam and phishing NFTs that automatically stops them from getting to your wallet. So it's built on the existing efforts that they're already doing to fight spam, but pretty cool for people who feel, hey, look, I'm just getting spammed so much in my wallet. I just want something to stop it. So they're making the efforts, and that's pretty cool to see. South Korea, on the heels of all this Luna information for crypto. So for exchanges, what they're saying here is it notified illegal business activities for 16 unregistered virtual asset service providers, they call it, to the investigative authority. So they're basically urging these users to practice extra caution to avoid incurring damages that may result from their transactions by being unregistered, and a maximum of 5 years in prison or, in their currency, $50 million fine can be imposed with a restriction for registering as a VASP in a domestic market for a certain period of time. So basically, they're going after people who are not, registering with their the Financial Services Commission. So pretty high maximum prison sentence if people are, charged and found guilty of these illegal business activities in South Korea. From there, there's an ETH developer who posted a question to a few exchanges today, including Coinbase. So basically asking, hey, if regulators ask you to censor the Ethereum protocol level with your validators, will you A, comply and censor, or B, shut down the staking service and preserve network integrity? Brian Armstrong from Coinbase chimed in, basically saying, hey, it's a hypothetical we hopefully won't actually face, but if we did, we go with B, which would be, the shutting down the staking service. You got to focus on the bigger picture. There may be a better option like C, a legal challenge that could help reach a better outcome. So pretty cool to see him chime in there. Coinbase has kind of taken a beating lately, and would at least nice to see him come in and say, like, somewhat decisively, hey, I'm going to shut down the staking service if I had to choose between the two. But hey, here's a third solution that maybe would make a little more sense. From there, more transparency. Tether. They've hired an Italian firm, basically BDO Italia. It's going to start producing monthly attestations of Tether's USDT backing. So basically reports for people to see, like, hey, what's going on looking under the hood. So they'll do independent reviews of Tether stablecoin reserves to ensure that each unit of USDT is actually backed by cash or cash equivalents. Through the reviews, Tether aims to release these reports monthly instead of quarterly, which is good. More transparency is what this industry needs for sure. And they will include updates about the number of tokens, USDT tokens, as well as the company's reserves. So I think that's a really cool thing that they're doing. This is from Cointelegraph today. Just to be as transparent as what this industry needs is transparency, and people to just be cool and, not try to screw each other over, in my opinion. So I like this move by Tether, and let's see when the first report comes out. Moving into real estate, China. You probably read a lot about China, and CNBC has this headline today: Chinese property developers' cash flows have plunged by more than 20%. So the cash flows are down 24% year on year, annualized basis. Basically, a slowdown growth for nearly every year since 2009. Recent homebuyers' refusal to pay mortgages has worsened. Obviously, if you've read about the Chinese, the citizens and the local banks, that there's a lot of turmoil going on there. And despite multiple reports of government's plan to keep the developers' funding, funded. The central government has yet to announce broader support for real estate. So a lot of these developers were taking deposits from buyers saying like, hey, we're going to put up a new condo building or whatever. And they laid their deposits down. They take that money and they go and start another project, take more deposits, start another, all leverage just, into another deposit, to another building. And basically when this whole thing, sort of got called out, they weren't able to refund anyone's, money, let alone build on the projects that they had taken deposits on. So very interesting to watch what's going on there overseas, especially seeing how that can affect on a global level. Because obviously there's a lot going on in China that affects global, as a whole, the globe as a whole. So we will keep an eye on that. This is from Bankrate. So basically they're saying the housing supply squeeze is finally beginning to ease. Housing economists measure the stockpile of homes in months of supply. So from January, it was just 1.6 months of supply, record low, according to the National Association of Realtors. Each month it's gone up, right? And in July, it, basically almost doubled, right? So you could say 3.3, almost at 3.4. So the rule of thumb that a balanced market doesn't, you have a buyers and sellers and a balance, right? The balanced market is categorized, I should say, 5 to 6 months of supply. So 3.3 is still a seller's market, but it looks less skewed than it did a few months ago. So who knows? We'll start to see, some inventory opening up, and that's a positive thing. Here's a little chart from the National Association of Realtors. You can see that housing supply from that January low, how it's making its way up again to 3.3 last month. Here's a cool story I saw on US News, and they do this every year, best places to live in the United States, right? So they basically intend to take these metro areas, and they use a bunch of metrics I'm going to go through. And the data, there's 5 indexes evaluated by this methodology, they say by Americans' preferences. And they basically weight each index, I'll show you, through a survey for the country at large. They survey for what people believe was the most important factor considering where they should choose to live. So the first one is job market index, right? So that's 20% of the overall pie chart, if you want to say. So they take that and they say there's 2 factors within this job market index. The first one, the unemployment rate, which is 40% of this 20%. They calculate a 12-month moving unemployment rate from the Department of Labor and Bureau labor statistics, right? So whether the job market's growing, struggling, or remaining stable. They take the average salary, which weighs 60% of this 20. The average salary, same calculation, the BLS, earning potential in the subject metro area. From there, 25% of the pie is the value index. So how comfortably the average resident can afford to live within their means. So they take this between like a blended median household income, right? So people that own a home with a mortgage and the population that rents a home. So they calculate a blended average between the two. Then the blended annual housing costs they take, same idea, right? Your mortgage, tax, insurance, utilities, right? Then they take those same ideas minus the mortgage for renters, right? The median gross rent of each metro area. Maybe utilities are paid by the landlord. Maybe they're paid by the tenant. Single family is probably the tenant, right? Maybe if you're in a building, you get some kind of cable or internet or something like that, depending on where you live. And they kind of blend that to the housing cost. That's the 25% of the pie. Sorry. Then the quality of life is 32.5% of the pie. So that's how satisfied you are with your daily life in this metro area, surveying people, happiness scale, so to speak, right? Do you feel like you're getting value for what you're paying to live in this city? And they break this down a lot. I'm not going to go through each one, but crime, quality and affordable health, available of healthcare, education quality, just well-being, social, financial, community, physical. A commuter index, if you're sitting in traffic all day, if you can walk to work, if you can bicycle, if you have to drive, if you have to take public transportation. And then the air quality index, right? Overall, they have a desirability scale. From there, the desirability index is another piece of the pie, the fourth piece, 17.5%. So basically, whether people want to live in that area, right? Is it desirable to live in whatever city? And they use a poll with 3,500 people across the country again to see where they're most likely to live. And then finally, the last piece of the pie, 5%, is net migration. So people who come in or leave each area. A cool metric for a lot of investors will use, they'll look at U-Haul, where people are taking one-way trucks, typically California to Texas or New York to Florida, and they're measuring, like, hey, they have a cool site. Like, you can look on U-Haul's website and kind of see that data they release from time to time, and be able to understand, hey, where is this net migration, going away from, and where is it coming to? A lot of tech hubs, Denver, Austin, Texas, aforementioned, Miami, places where people want to get cheaper housing, better value for, what they're earning and what they're spending as a result, as well as lower taxes, better weather, who knows, right? So they take these all together. So here are the poll of the best places to live, right? Number one came in Huntsville, Alabama, which is kind of a cool area because you have Nashville and Atlanta not too far from each. So it makes like an interesting little triangle of sorts. Not surprising. That place is blown up for a while. I invest there in transparency. Nothing to do with this list, but I've been there for years. Followed by Colorado Springs, Green Bay, Wisconsin, Boulder, Colorado, San Jose, Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina, and Fayetteville, Arkansas. Again, a lot of areas where you're seeing tech jobs like Boulder, Raleigh-Durham, places where people can get a better living. Now, San Jose surprised me a lot because that is astronomical to live there. And it always comes in at the height of median house price, median salary. It exceeds all of these standard metrics that we see as, on a domestic level. It always is in the top percent of expensive to afford to live there. It's very expensive to live there. So there's the list. I thought that was a cool story to end with, just for people to kind of understand, like, hey, what's going on in these cities across the country and what do people think? So with that, I hope you all have a great night. I will see you all on the stream tomorrow. Like this video if you found value. Subscribe to my channel. I do crypto, real estate. Try to split it up half and half to give you the best stories that I feel are out there for the day and most relevant to share with you. And if you have anything you'd like me to cover more, or stories you see that are interesting, would love to do that and interact with you all on the chat. So we'll see you all tomorrow, and have a great night.